It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we got a Ritual 1 opening ceremony Barleywine to show you. And it's by Nemeton Ales in the Netherlands. It's coming in at 10.8% ABV and it's 50 IBUs. Looks like a Barleywine just by looking at the liquid in the bottle. Black bottle cap. Without further ado, let's get this beer out into a glass, see what we get. The brewery in the Netherlands, Nemeton, were kind enough to send me this beer. Nice bit of smoke on the bottle opening. Beer in the glass. Lots of sediment. Sediment, unfiltered goodness, I like to call it. And we've got a one finger slightly off white head. Look at the colour on that. Dark, almost jet black. I would say a muddy mahogany, hazy looking beer. That's the best way to describe it. Dark mahogany wood. Good carbonation. Look as I rock the beer back and forth. God, look at that. No smooth hand moment there. Let's try this hand. That's a bit better. I've just finished. I've started mentioning it in my beer reviews. I've just finished doing a training session, and rather than get on the powdered proteins that people eat to get big and bulky and mass, I've decided to do it with beer. That's the best thing. So I've done about an hour of a big training session. Just put my t-shirt back on, all nice and warm, bit flustered. Time for the 10.8% ABV beer. I'm sure it's going to do a similar job. Not that I'm looking to build mass. I'm not looking to build mass. I'm looking to just kind of like shape myself a little bit as a 40-year-old man. You have to start looking after yourself a little bit more as you get older, I'm afraid. Aroma. Well, let's see if the hands settle down now. I really kind of like punish myself. It's almost like rocking back and forth. I promise I'm not that desperate for a beer. I promise you. It's not like the shakes going on here. Here we go. The taste. Aroma, taste. I'd say lots of licorice. Lots of licorice, lots of plum, lots of fig, lots of prune, a big malty brew. It's quite bitter on the back end. There's a quite substantial bitterness launching on the back of the palate there. It's got a really good body. A really big, fat, kind of creamy body. It's almost got the body of an imperial stout. Ah, that's better. Look at that now. Turn it that way. Really kind of rock it back and forth. You can see the quality of the beer just by rocking the beer back and forth now. Small carbonation chasing the glass. Chasing the head up the glass. This beer review is a bit of a train wreck. I do apologise. Bit of a train wreck so far. I'm saying I'm going to get the aroma and I'm tasting and sometimes, and I don't edit. Well, I chop the end off. Whether you call that editing, I don't know, but I chop the end off the video. Saves you watching me pressing the record button to turn the video off. That's the only bit of editing I do. It's all true, it's all honest, it's all kind of press record, let's go, let's talk, let's chat. 99% of the time, it's good. That 1% of the time, you can throw in 2 or 3, 4 mistakes in a beer review, and that just happens. But it shows it's not a robot in front of the camera, it shows it's not a, you know, it's a human being standing here talking to you about a Barleywine from the Netherlands. I suppose you can't always get it right. Not even the top You know, you look at footballers, they're paid, I don't know, 60 grand a week to put the ball in the back of the net. And how many times you see them kick it into the top row of the stands or the corner flag, and you think, what's my 60 grand for? That's what I would be thinking if I was the owner. What am I paying 60 grand a week for people to kick it into the stands? That happens a lot. 10 million pound Formula One cars get wrecked on a weekly basis down to human error. These things happen, and sometimes they happen over here on our beer reviews as well. Yeah, I don't think it's been that bad. It's not been that bad. They've created this barley wine. I'm just going to be honest. I think it's a little bit rough around the edges. They've created this barley wine with good body, good mouthfeel, good body, sweetness to begin with. But then this really they've kind of like maybe put too many hops in the boil. There's a lot of bitterness, a lot of bittering hops in this beer. 50 IBUs worth of bittering hops. There's a way you can use hops. You can either put a load of dry hop into the fermenter and have lovely floral flavours, or you can use a hop a very different way, and that's to throw it in the boil, and that just brings out bitterness. They've gone for it. That's what they want. That's what they need. That's what they need from what they want, I suppose. Another train wreck moment, but for me it's a little rough around the edges. I don't think in a barley wine you need this much bitterness. It's bitterness for the sake of bitterness. But then again, there's a lot of sweetness to begin with, so that bitterness kind of like balances itself out a little bit. I think as a tweak, if I was to tweak this beer, it's a good beer. It's a good beer. It's not a bad beer. It's not a beer that I'm overly complaining about. I was just giving my own little observation towards the bitterness on the back end. If I'm not honest, then the brewer, they don't get any feedback, do they? Or they don't get too much feedback from their fans, maybe. The brewers sent me these beers for feedback. Here's my feedback. Lower the bittering. Don't put too many kind of bittering hops in the boil, and do a little bit more dry hopping. Even if you've got to change the style of the beer from barley wine to triple IPA, do that. That would be my advice on this particular brew. So I'm going to rate it. They were kind enough to send me some beer. They were very kind enough to send me some Samyang noodles as well. So thank you very much to the brewing company, Nemeton Brewing Company. Check them out. I have had a couple of really good beers from them. This is not quite for me, I'll be honest. If you like that bitterness in a barley wine, then this is for you. All tastes are different. It's just my subjective taste. Your taste might be different to my taste. If you like that bitterness in a barley wine, go for it. Order it. You'll like it. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. It's a 6 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers.